and welcome to The One Show, live on BBC One and iPlayer with Jermaine Chiles.
And Alex Jones. Well, it's Wednesday, we've got a watchdog for you and a question for Matt as well. Matt, can you still do it if you B&Q it?
Well, that's certainly what they used to say, but now the trusted DIY giant has started to allow other firms to advertise on its website. Need a refund? Be prepared to do it yourself. And as the temperature drops, so does this news. Some energy firms once again have the right to force a prepayment meter onto you. Well, we'll tell you the new rules that they have to follow.
Yeah, lots of you have been getting in touch to tell us how you're struggling as well. We're always here to help. Also coming up tonight, it may be cold out there, but reminding us of what summertime can feel like is Johnny Vegas as he continues to build his dream campsite. He'll be here shortly to tell us how he got roped into helping two guests say, I do.
I dread to think. And talking of tying the knot, we're joined by two actors taking to the stage to the sound of wedding bells. But let's just say the big day isn't quite what it's cracked up to be. Star of The Crown, Johnny Lee Miller, and Sex Education's Tanya Reynolds will be walking down the aisle to tell us all.
It will indeed. And we'll be stepping up to the Ocky to meet 16-year-old Luke the Nuke Littler following his epic performance at the World Darts Championships. We join him as he's reunited with the man who first spotted his potential.
And if you want to join in the conversation tonight, well, you can in all the usual ways. But first, it's over to our very own handyman.
Well, whether you're laying a patio or putting up shelves, B&Q's website means there's absolutely no excuse for putting off a job. Whatever you want gets delivered to your front door. Unless, of course, what you've ordered is a front door. However, the DIY giant has also opened up its website to become a marketplace, inviting third-party sellers to trade under its banner. But there's no putting a gloss on it. It's not working for everyone.
It can be annoying when you buy a product, only to find out that it's not what you thought it was. Yeah, it's not the same colour, is it? And it can be equally annoying when you buy a product that you think is from one shop only to find out it's actually from another. In April 2022, B&Q opened its website to third-party sellers to list their wares. And with over 300,000 products listed, B&Q said it would verify those sellers to make sure the system was watertight.
But loads of you have been telling us that when you've bought items through verified sellers on B&Q's website and there are problems later, B&Q wash their hands of it, literally leaving you to do it yourself.
Dave bought a cement mixer for a house renovation for £230 via the B&Q website.
I just thought it was from B&Q, and when it turned up from a third party, I was a little surprised. I started using it in the spring and then all the way through the summer, and then the thing stopped working properly.
Dave contacted B&Q to ask for a replacement or a repair via their online form.
It took them about 3 weeks to track down my order. I sent them chaser emails to find out what was going on.
It turned out Dave had bought the mixer through one of B&Q's verified sellers rather than from B&Q directly. So he was told to fill out another complaint form, this time direct to the supplier.
They said, yeah, we'll get the team that's responsible for that to look at it. Never got a word back from any of them in a positive sense.
With no resolution in sight from either party, Dave eventually claimed back his money through his credit card provider.
So, Dave, did you feel that B&Q had your back?
No, quite frankly. I got the feeling they couldn't be bothered with too much of the aggravation that I was trying to cause them.
And it's not just Dave. Ailey bought a dehumidifier costing £140, but she received the wrong product, so followed the B&Q returns policy and contacted its customer services.
Once they found out that it wasn't actually sold and shipped by B&Q, it very much became a case of, well, you'll just need to contact the seller yourself. It wasn't their problem anymore. It wasn't clear that this was a marketplace seller. The only time I realised is when I got two separate invoices, one from B&Q and one from the seller themselves, but it wasn't clear at all.
So Ailey contacted the seller. It transpired that the problem was that the item had been described incorrectly, but the seller wasn't offering a solution.
I didn't quite realise there was a difference between buying from a marketplace on B&Q versus buying from B&Q themselves.
You can return certain products to a B&Q store and deal with someone face to face, but only after the third-party seller has accepted the return. Alex Neil from Consumer Voice is aware of the confusion customers can experience when dealing with these kinds of marketplaces.
There's a very small piece of text that says sold and shipped by, and that's actually where they're talking about these verified sellers. I mean, they don't really seem to be living up to the promise that they're saying, which is these verified sellers are of a great standard, and that if they aren't, or if they're having a problem, they would step in. None of those things seem to be happening.
We contacted B&Q and it told us that its customers have embraced the new amount of choice on their website, but in times of growth, issues can arise, and it's really disappointed if it ever lets down customers. It's apologised for any inconvenience and disappointment, and is in touch with both customers and sellers to resolve the issues we raised. It says all its third-party sellers are vetted to deliver a high standard of customer experience, including a 90 days return window and the option to return most products in store. And it recognises it's important customers know who they're buying from, which is why it has sold and shipped by information for each product. B&Q, some of your loyal customers are asking, B and who? You've got to be clear with them who they're buying from in the first place, and be prepared to sort them out if the whole thing goes wrong. If the ultimate sellers of those products let them down, then like it or not, you'll be tarred with the same brush.
Well, B&Q contacted Ailey and offered an apology and a refund, which she was happy to accept. Dave's refund is still very much in the mixer, so to speak. We'll let you know when we have something more concrete. Now, if you've had a similar situation where you thought you were buying from one seller only to find out that it was another, do get in touch. Watchdog@bbc.co.uk or at BBC Watchdog on socials. Right, just in time for the really cold weather, it's been announced that a number of energy firms are now allowed to force people onto prepayment meters again. We covered this in 2022 when viewers Oliver and Rosie both had meters fitted when they weren't at home, and for a debt that wasn't theirs. It was clear that these prepayment meters were being forced on some people unfairly, on vulnerable people, and some firms even broke into homes with no regard for the occupants.
That's horrendous. Just remind us why so many people dislike prepayment meters.
Yeah, well, if you run out of credit, your heating stops, whereas if you're on direct debit, you've got a bit of a buffer there. Plus, when we start getting better value fixed monthly payment deals, prepay customers typically won't be able to get those. All energy firms were banned from fitting prepayment meters by force, but now Octopus, EDF and Scottish Power have been granted approval to once again fit them without your consent. But there are stricter rules. For instance, they now can't do so if you are 75 or over and living on your own. It was 85. It must make at least 10 attempts to contact you. It has to give you £30 of emergency credit. There are other rules as well, but the key is to make it clear to your provider that you don't want to prepay, and you will work with them to manage your debt. Make sure you let us know if companies aren't playing by those rules. And don't forget, you can always escalate your complaint to the Energy Ombudsman.
Yes.
Did you, Matt, catch the film that we showed on Monday about the charity that provides carpets to homes that don't have them?
Yeah, it's a brilliant film Kev made. We had a huge response as well. Loads of people are struggling this winter, as much, if not more, than they were last year. We know that because new figures from the Office for National Statistics show a 39% increase in households failing to pay their energy bills. Those bills, we hope, are going to come down in April, but much of the government help we had last year has gone, and support we know is needed right now.
Yeah, we've had some messages in. Sarah from Hampshire has emailed in. She's got MS, is housebound and has a teenager at home. She's behind on her bills and is having to make the decision between eating or heating.
It's a terrible decision to have to make, and she's not alone, we know that. What she needs to know, Sarah, you need to know, every supplier is duty-bound to help, whether it's a payment plan or providing other support. It doesn't necessarily mean that the debt's going to go away, but managing it could get you through to the spring, where we hope we'll see lower use, definitely, and lower prices as well. Sarah, we know you with British Gas. It also has its own charity which can provide grants if you're eligible, and you don't have to be with British Gas to benefit. It's called the British Gas Energy Trust. We put details of that on our website. Good luck. Let us know how you get on.
Absolutely. Another viewer has emailed in. She doesn't want to be named, but she's a single working mum on universal credit who won't turn the heating on and dreads her bill arriving. She's spoken to her energy provider. They have sent her an electric blanket.
OK, and do you know what? That can feel like a slap in the face, but There is actually a lot of sense in heating yourself rather than the room. However, if you do feel like that you've been down every path, got everything you possibly can from your provider, the next step might be to try your local authority. They can have funds available for those in particular need. Only those on certain benefits, though, are eligible. Universal credit is one of those that opens the door.
And what about these cold weather payments that I've heard about?
There's been a little bit about that in the paper just recently, because in some areas of the UK, parts of Cumbria and Northumberland, for example, the freezing temperatures have triggered automatic cold weather payments of £25, 0 or below for 7 consecutive days up until March. For those on universal credit and other benefits, should just about do it. It's a slightly different system for you in Scotland. You get an annual winter heating payment, and that should be regardless of the temperature.
Gosh. It's freezing, isn't it? It's tough
Get
out
in
there,
there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Matt. Great advice there.
Thank you. OK, still to come tonight, we'll be with teenage sensation, the 16-year-old Luke Littler, whose epic performance saw him reach the recent World Darts Championship final. And we'll also be speaking to actors Johnny Lee Miller and Tanya Reynolds about a play like no other.
But before that, last year, Johnny Vegas made his dream of owning a glamping site in the country a reality. And it was quite a carry-on.
And this time he's back to make it bigger and better than ever. Only now he needs to find a new location. Let's have a look.
Johnny Vegas is a camper van enthusiast.
Oh, wow.
And if that's not enough, he's set out to create the UK's chicest boutique glamping site.
I don't think I've been as proud as anything in years.
And having shown he can do it, Johnny wants to build on the success and create an even better site.
Nice gentle movements.
It's a new start for Johnny.
We're back, baby. We're back.
Oh, I love it. And here's the man himself. It's Johnny Vegas.
Hey! Thank you.
I mean, the first series was a big hit. It's back for its second series now, Johnny. What made you think, you know what, I'll do it all over again?
I didn't. I thought we were done and dusted. They followed us, you know, first time round. It was accidental. It was a purchase at 2 a.m. in the morning. Bought a Maltese bus. Thought, we'll just get through this midlife crisis. And then we couldn't expand, and it's a bit of a sickness, and there was other vehicles I wanted to rescue, and I stupidly joked with Bev about finding a helicopter. But then I did. and so it was so successful. It outgrew the field, and it was a lot to take on for the gang at Breakswell Farm. So we had to find somewhere else. So it wasn't finished, you know what I mean? There was another chapter to tell. And so it wasn't just making telly for the sake of making telly. It was like, we've got to start all over again. We've got to start looking for land. And it's really...
It's a lot.
Do you know what I mean? It's a lot to take on whilst having two other builds. And I had more time to commit to the actual field this time round. So like last time, I'd just ring Bev and go, it's like writing to Santa. I'd like a field. Sorted. I'm on set, gotta go. Love you. Bye. Now it's sort of like I was there and you're going, how do we make... You know, it was stressful. It was proper work.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Bev. She's your, should we say, long-suffering assistant? Is that all right? I mean,
that's how everyone described her.
Johnny, not much would get done if it wasn't for Bev. She's the one, isn't she, that kind of keeps things on track. But how was she with your new sort of bold ambitions? Because you've scaled this up quite a bit from last time.
Well, I like to imagine Bev now sat at home, spitting out a cup of tea as I go, she has my back. She fully supports me. She knows that I need this. It's a win for both of us. When I go out and buy a helicopter, her heart is filled with glee. She's like, go, Johnny, go. This is what gets me out of bed in the morning.
That's not
Sorting helicopter seats.
I can imagine.
She is. She's the person that makes it happen. I'm the person that goes, I've had an idea, I've had another idea, I've had another idea, and just dropping them in her lap. And everybody loves Bev.
She's brilliant.
She's like a gentle introduction to me. She's like, stroke the puppy, and then meet this 19-year-old dog. Do you know what I mean? That's how you coax them in. You just use Bev. Isn't Bev lovely? She's great, isn't she? Here's Johnny. Give me a boat.
Amazing.
Oh, God. All right, Johnny, last year, Patricia the Van was the highlight of the series. So who's the highlight this year?
Well, it's a tough one. Oscar is undeniably
Oscar the what?
helicopter.
Oh,
Puma
right,
helicopter.
Oh, hello.
Rescued. I mean, the hours that Stuart, who's sort of new to the team, put into renovating that, I cannot tell you. I think an actual year's amount of man hours has gone into getting it to the stage where it's at. But the boat I rescued, which was madness, because I didn't know 2/3 of them were concrete.
A boat?
So you can't go down.
Really?
And I'd ripped the top off. So there wasn't really anywhere to go with it.
Bit late.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was... so we ended up designing a kind of fantasy boat. If a child had illustrated a boat that had been lost at sea for years. And that is so romantic, it's beautiful. Oscar's like a big boy's toy. But Mahala has just, you know, crept up as well and gone. It's horses for courses. Yeah. I can't... You can't have favourites, can you?
Are you babies?
No, you can't. You can't. And you know,
you can't, Michael. You can't.
You can't.
It's Tom.
And during the process, you show, should we say, more of a vulnerable side, really, don't you?
Yeah. It was real work. It became a real business. A lot of people relying on it, and we'd moved. People didn't know, and we had to stop filming. Basically, I hit that point, and I think coming out of lockdown, where I'd been isolated for so much time, we were trying to open up as a pop-up, and I just hit a wall. I wasn't coping. Since I got my diagnosis of ADHD, and there was just too much being asked of me. And my coping mechanisms weren't, you know what I mean, weren't doing me any good. And it was really tough. I had to just kind of say, I can't do this right now. And I was just really lucky that the entire team, with Jim and Claire and everybody, just stepped off and went, get yourself well, we'll come back and we'll pick up, you know, if and when we can. And you don't know if it's going to be available, but you're going... We're not going to get no time. Nothing is worth this. No. It's a dream, and I'm passionate. Everybody who works on the site is passionate about it, but you're going, I just need that breathing space to get myself together. And thankfully we did, and we came back, and it's now, it's there. Yeah. We've got a field.
Season 2.
And we love it. Well, Bev, I can hear Bev in my head going, tell them it opens on April the 12th. Tell them.
April the 12th.
April the 12th.
But
till October.
Carry On Glamping returns next Wednesday, 9 o'clock on Channel 4. There we go. We've done it all. Ben's really happy now.
There you go, Ben.
I did the PR bit. Do you know I like bees? I did warn you.
That's the next programme.
I really fancy my chances at beekeeping. Anyway, on with the show.
Yeah. Well, we are heading to
Not
Johnny's...
the massive ones, you know, the ones that are just...
I think we should swap places. We should just have Johnny here for the next
The
minutes.
manageable-sized ones.
Okay.
You know, the ones that don't bang you
we're talking darts. You like darts, Johnny, don't you?
I
love...
Let me tell you about this fella here, right? Because, you know, no disrespect to you, like your darts, but this is like world championship level. World championship level we're talking about.
I consider that a stroll.
Let's meet the tennis sensation who gripped the nation when he took the darts by storm. Come on, go.
Warrington. Famous for wire production, the UK's first Swedish flat-pack furniture superstore, and the birthplace of 16-year-old Luke the Nuke Littler. Having won the hearts of the nation at the World Darts Championships, he's come home. But before I meet up with him, I want to find out what the teenage dart player's success means to the town. And there's only one place to start, Luke's favourite kebab shop. Throughout the competition, Luke made it clear how much he loved a doner. And here at Warrington's Hotspot Takeaway, his success has had a large impact. What's it been like since Luke got to the final?
A lot busier, a lot busier.
So what have people been saying?
They've been walking past it and just opening the door and shouting, Luke Littler. There's only one Luke Littler.
I bet it's been so good for business.
Yeah, forget the business, he's absolutely smashing it. We're so proud of him.
Luke started playing darts at the age of 18 months old. He scored his first 180 at the age of 6 and a 9-dart finish at the age of 13. When he was 8, he joined the St Helens Darts Academy, where he met fellow professional darts player Miss Dynamite, aka Eleanor Cairns, who is Luke's best mate.
So we was in contact throughout the whole competition, really, just checking up on each other, you know. It was quite complete in shock, really, every time we won the game, but yeah, he's just done amazing.
But what about the media interest that her best mate has attracted?
He's coped with it well. It's just going to stay the same, I think, a chilled 16-year-old lad, yeah.
A few miles away is St Helens, where Eleanor and Luke trained. There's a real sense of pride too, especially here at Carl Holden's dart shop. Carl spotted Luke's talent at just 9 years old.
So Luke is just on his way here. He's going to see Carl for the first time since the final.
Right, Carl. There we go, lad. All good. All good.
What's it like to be around each other again?
It's always good being around him, you know. We've always given the lad good advice, you know, but to get to the final and watching him was pretty special for everybody.
It's just talking from this man. Started off in the beginning and this is where I am now, so hopefully when I do win the world, I'll pay him a bit.
If we go out the back, there's a few people who want to kind of welcome you home. Let's go. Hey guys.
One thing I've not asked him yet, obviously, I've kept out of his, should we say, but what was it actually like playing at Ali Pali and then getting to the final? What was you thinking on that stage?
Everyone knows I just wanted to win a game and then won 6.
How little was he when you went, he's special and he's different?
Probably about that big. He was 10 and we had to shove him in the under-21s because his ability was just too good for anybody else.
I'm keen to find out how Luke's been coping with his newfound fame.
I mean, the shelves are empty because of you. Is that a strange thing to get your head around?
It's been crazy for myself and it's been good for Carl.
You've really got big on social media, it's fair to say, isn't it? You went from 500 followers. I've lost count. Do you know how many?
4,000 to 1 million.
I mean, that's a lot. How much are you letting yourself go on your phone and check social media?
Obviously, I'm still a kid. I'm always on social media.
Who's been kind of sliding into the DMs? It's quite exciting.
The big one's David Beckham.
What did David Beckham say?
He said, like, something, well done, once a red, always a red.
Luke's visit home is a flying one. He hopes to be back in training for the Premier League, which kicks off in February before starting the Players' Championship tournaments that same month. But it's clear he's not forgotten his roots.
What was it originally that made you first pick up a dart?
I was just looking up to my dad. He only played in the house, just didn't play out in the pub. And then we were in the pound shop or whatever it's called, and I just picked the toy and it was a magnetic dartboard. And so what would have happened if I didn't pick up the magnetic dartboard?
Ah, see, that's a nice story, isn't it?
It is.
Did you watch it?
I did. What a talent, honestly. He was so close to winning it. I'm taking you next time as well.
Have they got nice wine?
Have they got nice wine, she says. Yeah.
Day out for us.
Proper day out.
Oh, it's brilliant. Joining us now are two actors who are preparing to take to the stage for a new run of their play in the West End. Now, she kept 40 million of us entertained in Sex Education, and the last time he stepped onto a London stage, he won an Olivier Award. Please welcome Tanya Reynolds and Johnny Lee Miller.
Yeah. Some intro.
Oh, you look pleased with that, didn't you? Oh, good.
Very nice.
Oh, good. So, Tanya, let's talk about a mirror then. Now, you've both done it before, so you're really familiar with it. But in terms of what the audience can expect, when they come in, what do they think is happening?
Yeah, so it's one of those plays where probably the less you know going in, the better.
Yeah.
But the audience they're invited to a wedding, but it's not a wedding. Yeah.
So, kind of without giving too much away, because I suppose that's the joy of it, people don't know what to expect.
It's a difficult one.
Kind of a play within a play.
Yeah, a play within a play, and then maybe another play within
I
that
think
play.
at one point there's a play within a play within a play.
Yeah.
But the audience comes in and we sort of need the group of actors that we are need their help. So once we've made sure everything's okay, we're then able to present our play, which is being performed without a license from the ministry. And we realise we're in a sort of a much more restrictive society, and we need the audience's help sometimes to pull off this stunt, if you like. Yeah.
Okay. So it's all about sort of freedom of expression in a way, Tanya, isn't it? Without...
Yeah, well, it's set in a society, in an authoritarian regime where there's such things as a Ministry of Culture, where plays have to be approved by the ministry in order to be put on, and the play that we're doing has not been approved and it's illegal. So it's
So you found a way around it.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous thing for our characters to be doing, which is why we're staging it under the guise of a wedding.
Johnny, when was the last time you was on stage? Was it a while ago? I mean, because something's grabbed you about this script, hasn't it? Like to kind of go, right, I want to get back out there.
Yeah, it's just when you read a play, I really like have to be really excited by a play in order to do it, and especially I live in New York, so when I read this play, I was like, oh man, it's so good. I'm going to have to go to London and do it. You know instantly. I think that's what you know within a few pages, and Sam Holcroft's script is just got so much, and it examines a lot of different themes. There's the censorship, but there's also, it looks at truth and fiction. There's sexual politics in it. There's a lot of misogyny, and there's Tanya's character is trying to negotiate her way through that. So there's lots of things. It sounds quite heavy, but it's also very funny, and that appeals to me.
Well, speaking of funny, actually, because we're going to talk to you quickly, Tanya, about sex education. Your character Lily was incredible. We absolutely loved her to bits. You know, you're still kind of like receiving messages from fans. What was it about her character, do you think, that like, a lot of people resonated with?
Well, I think just like the show in general, like the show was such an incredible thing. It was like a service to so many people, and the messages that all of us would receive and still do receive, and even people, you know, especially young people on the street, kind of expressing their gratitude for the show because it's helped so many young people overcome certain things. I mean, everyone wished, like we all wish that we had that show when we were 16. And Lily, I think that she's I mean, she was inspired, even to me, she was inspiring, because she's just a little kind of outsider. She's a little oddball, but she's so brilliant and so confident. And I think that people just, really connected to this little weirdo just navigating her way through.
Great. Do you know, I'm still looking at Johnny Lee Miller and thinking, where's John Major in him? I can't see it.
He's in there somewhere.
It's amazing.
He's in there somewhere.
And the Rat opens at the Trafalgar Theatre in London from Monday.
Yeah, thanks for all our guests tonight.
Tomorrow I'll be here with Jodie Comer, Catherine Waterston and Simon Reeve. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Good night.